What if the next security upgrade didn't need wires, didn't need charging, and never blinked, even during a blackout? Welcome to the world of EST solar CCTV cameras, where sunlight powers peace of mind. In this video, 7 solar-powered security cameras are lined up, tested and ranked for real-world reliability, image quality, alerts, app experience, and how well their panels actually keep them topped up. Stick around, because the top 2 change how off-grid home security feels. Fewer false pings, clearer faces at night, and storage models that won't nickel and dime. 7. TP-Link Tapo SolarCam C402 Kit. After mounting TP-Link's Tapo C402 with its included monocrystalline panel, the first impression is solid. Compact bullet camera, IP65 build, and a tidy 13-foot cable for flexible solar placement. It keeps recording through storms and brief Wi-Fi hiccups, which is reassuring when routers reboot or the grid flickers. The app integrates cleanly with Alexa and Google Assistant, and local microSD up to 512 gigabytes is a practical alternative to cloud if bandwidth or subscriptions are a concern. In daytime, 1080p footage is passable for driveway plates at close range and general porch visibility. Night performance splits the difference between utility and compromise. Flip on the dual spotlights and color night vision makes faces more recognizable within about 30 feet, but the 15 FPS cap leaves motion blur when someone moves quickly across frame. The 125-degree diagonal field of view is wide enough for a typical front approach, yet the 1080p ceiling means digital zoom quickly runs out of detail when trying to identify a face at distance. Audio is clear for two-way talk, and the 94 dB siren gets attention at close quarters. Power has been dependable under mixed weather. TP-Link's lab claim of up to 180 days on a charge is optimistic but directionally accurate when motion events are modest, and the panel sees a few hours of direct sun. In a high-traffic alley test, the battery maintained comfortably as long as the panel wasn't shaded all afternoon, pointing to decent charging efficiency from the monocells. 6. Camstro 2K Solar Security Cameras. Camstro's spec sheet reads well: 2K resolution, color night vision, PIR motion detection, and some models offering 360-degree pan tilt coverage for a larger scene from a single mount. The 2K bump is instantly noticeable over 1080p when zooming into faces near entry paths, and PIR helps curb ghost alerts from light shifts. Setup is easy, and two-way audio is functional for gate chats. On calm days and in suburban light, the color night mode adds context that black and white IR can't. Real-world solar performance is adequate when the panel gets consistent sun, but overcast stretches exposed how quickly high-motion environments can eat into reserves if pan tilt is used frequently. The larger power draw of motorized PTZ combined with frequent repositioning led to more conservative motion settings to maintain battery, slightly dulling the benefit of that 360-degree view. In contrast, keeping it in set patrol positions balanced coverage and endurance better. Image quality at 2K is cleaner than 1080p peers, and daytime sharpness helps with package thief identification across medium distances. The PIR-based triggers keep footage focused on relevant clips, though rapid crossings at the edge of frame sometimes arrive as late-started recordings. Color night vision is pleasant when ambient light exists. In near-total darkness, without spotlight assistance, detail drops and the practical ID range shortens. Connectivity and app stability were serviceable, but occasional delays on notifications were more noticeable on crowded Wi-Fi, and the broader ecosystem polish isn't yet at the level of established smart home brands. 5. Hiseeu Solar Security Cameras. Hiseeu's solar line aims for that sweet spot of higher than 1080p clarity with simple battery-first operation, and in practice it lands as a dependable mid-tier workhorse. The 2K class image holds facial detail better than 1080p when pausing frames, and motion-triggered clips are typically on target without excessive false alarms. Build quality is respectable for outdoor mounting, and the solar panel delivers steady trickle charging in moderate sun. During extended use, the camera handled routine weather swings without moisture ingress or reboots, and the PIR detection paired with tuned activity zones reduced backyard critter triggers. Daytime footage makes it easy to follow deliveries and vehicle comings and goings, and audio rounds out porch interactions. The app experience isn't flashy, but it's predictable, which is often what matters on day 90. Night vision balances IR reliability with optional color assists where ambient light exists. For pure darkness, IR maintains consistent visibility. With garden lights or occasional car headlights, color kicks in to add clothing hues and vehicle paint recognition that help after-the-fact reviews. Battery trends held steady in a medium traffic test when the panel got midday sun, and cool weather didn't trigger premature throttling. Storage choices tend to include local options, so footage isn't hostage to subscription decisions, making it friendlier for long-term ownership costs. Notifications landed in a reasonable window, rarely missing critical events, and clip sorting by motion type sped up scrubbing through timelines. Number 4. AnranSolar security cameras. AnranSolar units have matured into sturdy performers that emphasize practical detection and steady charging, and that shows up in day-to-day use. Mounting is flexible, and the panels maintain charge across typical suburban sun schedules with margin to spare. The cameras lock onto motion with consistent triggers, and the image holds up when zooming into faces near entryways or watching for movement around vehicles. What stands out is the balance of app simplicity with enough configurability to tailor zones, cooldowns, and sensitivity. That directly translates into fewer nuisance pings without losing important clips, an underrated trait when phones are already overflowing with notifications. Audio is respectable for door interactions, and spotlight assists make night scenes more informative without overexposing. Power management is a recurring strength. Even with a few cloudy days, the battery percentage remains steady, suggesting effective panel sizing and charging profiles. Cold mornings didn't provoke random shutdowns, and the system bounced back quickly after router restarts. For users who prefer set-and-forget reliability over constant tinkering, this stability is a big win. Footage at night leans on clean IR when full color isn't practical, and faces remain legible at porch distances. Spotlight activation doubles as a deterrent, and the motion-to-record pipeline starts early enough to catch approach sequences instead of partial exits. Local storage support mitigates long-term cost anxiety. Anran lands ahead of mid-pack because of consistent charging and event capture that feels trustworthy after months, not just days. 3. Xega 2-pack security camera. Xega's 2-pack approach raises coverage per dollar, and in testing, that meant closing blind spots with matched cameras and overlapping zones. With 2K class clarity, clips preserve more detail during zoom, aiding after-incident review across a wider yard. Paired with solar panels, both units kept their charge in sync, and the app made it straightforward to coordinate notifications without duplicating alerts for the same motion. Daytime video is crisp with decent dynamic range for sun and shade porch scenes. The PIR sensors correctly prioritized people over moving foliage, and sensitivity tuning brought alerts into a comfortable band. Two-way audio carried voices clearly enough to guide deliveries or warn off loiterers, and the siren capability added a deterrent layer when needed. At night, spotlight-assisted color provided helpful context in semi-lit driveways, while IR maintained reliable visibility in darker corners. Because it's a 2-pack, strategic placement, one closer for Face ID, one wider for context, delivered better results than a single higher-res camera used alone. Battery stability mirrored panel exposure. Careful panel angles paid dividends in cloudy stretches. Notifications were consistent, and the timeline UI kept multi-camera events coherent. Local storage options kept ongoing costs predictable, and firmware updates arrived without drama. For medium-sized properties, there's clear practical value in deploying coordinated pairs that watch over each other's blind sides. Xega secures the number 3 slot because it combines respectable 2K visuals, steady solar performance, and the inherent advantage of 2 vantage points without doubling complexity. It's a coverage-first choice that behaves like a small system rather than a single gadget. 2. ZUMIMALL solar security cameras. ZUMIMALL has refined its solar lineup into a surprisingly polished package for the price, and in use that shows up as fewer false alerts, cleaner 2K detail, and a dependable charging profile. The housing feels purpose-built for weather, and installation is quick with a versatile panel mount that finds sun even on cluttered facades. Daytime image quality holds plate characters and facial features longer into a digital zoom than 1080p peers. Smart detection does well distinguishing people, and activity zones prevent lawn motion from spamming the feed. Night performance balances color and IR sensibly. With a bit of ambient light, color preserves clothing contrast and vehicle paint, while IR locks in when conditions are too dark. The spotlight adds both visibility and deterrence without blowing highlights at close range. Power has been a quiet strength. The panel keeps up through eventful weekends without dipping to anxiety-inducing levels, and the system recovers charge quickly when sun returns. Connectivity over 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi has remained stable with timely notifications, which matters when quick responses count. Storage flexibility is part of the appeal, letting owners lean on local options first and opt into cloud only if remote archival or advanced features are needed. The overall app polish feels a notch above many budget rivals, with fewer hiccups during firmware updates and a cleaner event timeline. 1. Aosu Solar Security Cameras. Aosu takes the crown because it consistently elevates solar CCTV from good enough to confident. The 3K 5 meta resolution brings a noticeable jump in facial clarity and license readability compared with 2K peers, while the 166 degrees ultra-wide lens dramatically reduces blind spots on corners and long porches. In testing, that wider canvas meant fewer compromises on placement, covering both door approaches and driveway edges in one frame. The integrated spotlight and smart alarm add a meaningful deterrent layer that engages right when human detection trips. What truly distinguishes Aosu is system thinking. With local 32GB storage on a base or hub configuration, footage loops up to roughly 120 days depending on settings, and that no monthly fees baseline makes long-term ownership simpler. Camera to camera, Track and Sync stitches events across multiple nodes into a coherent timeline, which is incredibly useful when following a person from gate to porch to side yard. It feels like a mini NVR experience without wires. Day and night, image quality carries. The 5-megapixel pipeline preserves detail when pausing frames, and color night vision with the spotlight keeps identification viable in mixed lighting. Two-way audio is strong for gate talk, and the siren-spotlight combo deters lingering. Support for both 2.4G and 5G Wi-Fi improves connection stability in dense networks, reducing alert lag and stream stalls that cheaper units sometimes exhibit. Solar endurance has been excellent. Even with higher resolution recording and frequent events, the panels kept batteries topped in normal sun cycles, and recovery after overcast spells was quick. Final thought? That's all for today, folks.